This series put me in a very difficult position. While I love Hulkling and Wiccan and the concept of the Witch's Road, I'm excited for future live action adaptations and more Marvel MCU Wiccan and Hulkling goodness. But ultimately, this didn't scratch the itch for me. I'm torn between being positive about having a Wiccan limited series and being negative by how poorly written I feel it is. Hello and welcome to the 616. I'm Oliver. I'm super gay. That's my credentials for doing this. I was pretty hyped when they announced this series was happening, so now that it's all out, I'd like to talk about it. I was so excited that I did a full video breaking down the history of the characters, Hulkling and Wiccan, and a read order for anybody else that was interested in preparing for Wiccan Witch's Road when it released. So this limited series was 5 issues. I'm aware that with a limited series, you're probably not going to be able to delve into the same amount of detail as, obviously a 20-issue run, but this opens up a couple of concepts that I don't really feel like they utilized very well. So instead of kind of going issue by issue, I'm just going to sort of riff off how it opens, the general plot of the series, and then how it ends, and kind of just address some of the things that I don't really like about the series and some of the things that I did like about it, but unfortunately for me, the negatives quite greatly outweigh the positives. So Wiccan Witch's Road opens in a pretty promising situation. Despite following on from Imperial, where Billy was injured and Teddy lost his throne, Billy is now fine, and Teddy is the injured one because fuck the continuity and completely fuck Hulkling's Skrull abilities. Remember back in the Civil War spin-off with Young Avengers and the Runaways, where someone tried to dissect Teddy? I think it was at the Cube, and his organs kept moving out of the way. Yeah, he's a Skrull. He can heal himself, but apparently not for this. But we land in a place where Marvel leans into its folklore. Now, this is some of the stuff that I did enjoy. The entire first issue is really great. It establishes Teddy and Billy's relationship pretty well, runs through the history so far of the characters, and introduces us into this new story and aesthetic. We eventually meet Baba Yaga, which, pretty cool character, again leading into the folklore. But it's there that things start to take a detour. Billy gets a makeover, which I'll go in depth with a little bit later because I have some strong opinions on that makeover, but is then sent on a quest to collect things. He's sent on a video game fetch quest to get a few things because, shock and surprise, he's got no abilities. They've done the old Spider-Man 2 plot of, we're going to take away his demiurge powers. She sends him on the Witch's Road, and this is where everything falls apart for me. Throughout the series, the Witch's Road is never really explained. It's never given any lore or explanation. It doesn't really seem to be anything unique. It's just used as name value here for some MCU synergy. Throughout the series, we also get cameos and additional supporting characters that just don't offer much. Morgan Le Fay, Fing Fang Foom, a physical version of the Demiurge, and then eventually Kate Bishop, Tommy Shepard, Wanda Maximoff, and Storm. So before we get into the rest of the series, let's talk Wiccan's makeover, because I mentioned it earlier, and again, I have some strong opinions on it. He's rocking longer hair, which he's done before in the New Avengers run, which often gets pointed out as being a sort of Spy Kids Next Door style of artwork, where he's looking quite emo-y and caricature-y. But this time he kind of looks a bit like an 80s wrestler. He's got a little bit of a mullet going on from different angles. He ditched the headband a while ago, the old Asgardian headband, but now has an antler-shaped sort of tiara thing. The red cape remains, though we never see the hood up, and he has adornments around his waist with baggier pants and then knee-high boots. And I'm sorry, but this is a huge downgrade for me. We really peaked around like the Empire era for Wiccan's look. Even the New Avengers style wasn't as bad as everyone made it out to be. But his muscular and sleek swimmer build and the shorter hair made him able to retain his masculinity while also looking agile. His costume here as well is too baggy for me. The cape isn't utilised whatsoever, and he loses his connection to space and the cosmos with the removal of the galaxy print on the side of his legs. And that's a huge part of what they are suggesting the Demiurge is, able to rewrite the magic of the universe. The one outfit that I feel like is truly iconically Wiccan is that one panel of him holding the milk carton during the Empire run. I'll show you, you'll know what it is. Like, that's Wiccan. The hair's perfect, the costume's perfect, and they adapted it really, really well in Agatha All Along. So, back to the story, Wiccan's on this fetch quest, and he's running around collecting all these things. Roxxon's in here, because why not, and we'll throw in Fing Fang Foom and this physical demiurge that he apparently met when he was a lot younger and created this connection with, but then at some point they disappear. To be honest, it didn't make any sense to me. I didn't really understand it. Maybe that's my fault, I don't know, but the story just didn't really make a lot of sense to me. Apparently his demiurge powers were lost to him because he was away from Earth for too long, even though they're meant to be like this universal sort of thing. That's kind of the whole plotline of their run in the New Avengers. Instead, it seems purely connected to Earth. So he goes on this fetch quest, we get a heap of Morgan Le Fay, they're running around in circles, and we've got transforming animals, and Teddy gets benched and turned into like a little miniature action figure. I can't believe that we got Teddy as an action figure in the comics before we got him as an action figure in real life, but hey ho. And Billy finds himself in a position where he's really stuck. He's got no powers, he's injured, he's getting beaten down by these creatures, and he has to unfortunately use the crutch of cameos to get the one up here. Tommy Shepard arrives just in the nick of time, which I'm always happy to see some Tommy. Any kind of expansion on Tommy is brilliant for me. He's the other half of the demiurge power that they've never explored. But then not too long after, we also get Wanda and Storm. Wanda and Storm don't really provide too much other than some name value and a cool comic book cover. Wanda's kind of just there to heal her sons, and that's about it, and Storm's just there to kind of look cool and fight things. And then we'll just throw Kate Bishop in, why not? Kate Bishop gets name dropped in the first issue, and then just for shits and giggles decides to show up in the last one. It is just a glorified cameo fest that leans into the nostalgia of the Young Avengers. Everybody wants the Young Avengers or that team to return, and this seems like a really cheap way to kind of cash in on that. And then a resolution for the plot. Again, I don't know whether or not I'm just misunderstanding what happened, but Billy just kind of jumps into Fing Fang Foom, sort of makes peace with the Demiurge, and then has his powers back, and just can very simply take out Baba Yaga. Which, yeah, Baba Yaga turned out to be the villain in all this. So then the series sort of ends with Billy and Teddy taking Baba Yaga's chicken leg hut thing and creating, like, their own house out of it. They're gonna live there, I guess, out in the snow, with, like, the slimy slug slave thing that lived with Baba Yaga. And then we kind of end on the note of Billy saying, you know, we've got my powers back, let's go get your throne back, which, what was the point in getting rid of Teddy's throne if we're now just gonna slowly go on an adventure to get it back? I'm a little bit confused by that. We're creating an issue just to solve an issue for the sake of it. Usually when people do the Spider-Man 2 thing, or like the Iron Man 3 thing of taking away a superhero's abilities or a costume or something that makes them who they are, it's usually for a reason, and it's usually to prove that they're a hero without it, or to prove that they have earned it, and I don't really feel like this series achieves that. The Witch's Road first appeared in the Scarlet Witch series back in about 2016, I believe, and even then we didn't really get much expansion on what the Witch's Road was, so when Agatha All Along came out, they had free reign to do whatever they wanted with it. Wiccan Witch's Road, despite literally it being in the title, doesn't explain what the Witch's Road is. Baba Yaga just basically teleports Billy to it. Roxxon is apparently on it with Fing Fang Foom, and there's no really clear indication that they ever leave it. Like, is it a physical place that they go? Is it sort of a metaphorical term for you're gonna go walk the Witch's Road, so you're gonna go on a quest? I don't really know. And it's really frustrating to kind of have to try and make sense of it all. And I do feel really bad because I really enjoyed the first issue a lot, and there's sort of bits and pieces that I can pick out, especially with the art. I really did enjoy a lot of the artwork that went into this. I love all the variant covers for the single issues that we got. They did a really great job with this, and it's not a terrible outing for Wiccan's first limited series, and I hope that he definitely ends up getting some more. I just think that as a short story for Wiccan and Hulkling, it isn't as strong as it could be, and it doesn't do a lot to kind of expand the lore that we've already created with these characters. I think that this series would be a lot more impactful and meaningful if it did take the time out to explain the Demiurge some more, and the abilities of the Demiurge, and the fact that Tommy and Billy are two halves of that Demiurge power, or explain the Witch's Road. Anything kind of introduced here or leaned into here, just expand it some more. So yeah, presumably at some point we're going to be getting like a Hulkling limited series, I guess. I don't know. I'm not really sure. I don't know if they're going to be doing more sort of spin-off Young Avengers stuff. I know that we're getting like a tie-in to the new Ultron event. But overall, this doesn't really fill me with like too much hope. I like the Chicken Leg Hut. I like that just the premise of having a Wiccan limited series. And I really like the folklore stuff. I would fuck a lot with a limited series of Billy and Teddy like exploring folklore and Baba Yaga and all that supernatural stuff, and like fighting leshies and becoming monster hunters, or anything along those lines is a lot cooler to me than what we got. If we're now just going to go back into space and rehash everything we did back in 2016 with the new Avengers run, with Teddy getting the throne and inheriting it all, I don't see the point. Why are we running around in circles? I don't get it. So there we go. I guess there's my quite negative review of the series. Let me know what you thought in the comment section down below. Feel free to leave a thumbs up, and yeah, I guess I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.